Well, for me, this reminds me of the first pop and jazz festival that Salvi made back in 1978, I think. So when I went when I was 10 years old, which changed my life. And so I had the feeling that this felt kind of like that, because that festival was also this, I mean, this is very well organized, of course, and beautiful, everything really nice. At the same time, it's the students who decide what happens by the way they react and by the energy and the enthusiasm they put into it. So it's really a community event. And that also felt like this. There were harpists back then who were hungry for something else. And they weren't quite sure what it was, and they thought it was in a pop and a jazz direction, and they came together in California. And they were right, because then these harpists, however many there are, 25, 30, I don't know exactly, decided to spend part of their valuable lives to come and explore this thing. So that's what I felt like. I felt like I've touched that. I'm at the same time that 10-year-old kid, and also me now in my 50s. Okay, well, actually this goes back to that first festival. That was, at that time, maybe, that's really interesting. At that time of the very first Jazz and Pop Festival, Salvi had also made a very early electric harp. The first one they made, and they made this for a while, then they stopped, and then they came back kind of recently. So maybe it's funny that these two events happened in the same way. They make these new amazing harps, and then there's interest, and there's the festival. But that wasn't your question. How did I come into contact? I first saw the electric harp at that festival, and then I think I was looking for amplification because I was playing with drums and playing in loud situations. So I was using other ways to do it, which was not satisfying. And it was inspiring because it's the best way to do it. And also, of course, what I like about the electric harp is it changed my way of playing, because you have more subtlety in what you can do dynamically. So it gives you a stronger rhythmic control, with the price of having to control it then. Like, it gives you power, but with choices and consequences. So I was focusing on the fact that this harp needs to have a special control, rhythmic control, and controlling the sound, just interacting with the sound and the rhythm on perhaps a slightly deeper way. So I wanted to explore this idea about muffling and about rhythm, and maybe explore some ways to work on this. I don't think you can follow in somebody's footsteps, because it's the only thing you can really do is to try to listen deeply enough to what is possible and what makes you happy. When I play this kind of music, because I thought I was going to be a classical harpist, but I was always doing this kind of stuff. Even though I'm not sure it's a good idea, I think it would be learn to play a classical harp while also exploring what it is you want to be doing, and play around with all the modern tools of electronics and an electric harp, or at least amplifying it. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do the same thing I did from the beginning, which is to just be aware of what I'm really doing, and to try to put energy into that, to not put energy into distraction of genre, or if I do, to understand why it seems important. So I'll be continuing to work on my rhythm. I will continue composing and touring. I like very much to play, so it's to figure out how to make this happen and what's the right context for it. So.